Welcome to Boots in Baltimore. I'm LeeAnn Blanchard, and I'm here with...
I'm Adenike Akintilo with Baltimore City Public Schools in the Office of College and Career Readiness. On the career readiness side, part of the amazing work-based learning team that really is supporting our students K through 12 in learning about careers, connecting to careers, and actually having opportunities like we're going to talk about today, like internships, where they get to actually go and be part of a career actually on the job with our amazing Baltimore City professionals and companies. And with me, I have Gloria Chance.
Hi, good afternoon. I am Gloria Chance. I am currently serving as the career navigator with the work-based learning team, and I am assisting Adenike in that all that you just said, to helping connect our students to internship opportunities over the next for the 13-week period, to get an opportunity to really see what it's like to explore and work with different employees in the city of Baltimore, just to get a great, it's a great opportunity for students to get some on the ground experience. So thank you.
And I'm so thankful to have you as a partner, Gloria, in doing this work.
Indeed, and I appreciate working with you. Thank you.
Well, I'm delighted to have the both of you here. I had actually been looking for an internship program for a while and had contacted some other schools. So I was incredibly pleased to find you guys. Now, this is a district-wide program. How did this internship program start?
Great question, LeeAnn. So the work-based learning team came on board roughly 2.5 school years ago. So we started in 2020 during the pandemic. And we were brought on board because of a couple of studies that were done around Baltimore City Public Schools and how they were preparing students to be ready for graduation, right? And so based on a study done by the Fund for Excellent Education, Evident, like a strategy Evident company, the recommendation was that they had a work-based learning team to actually cultivate or create curriculum that students could go through to build career readiness skills and actually have on-the-job experiences to get to put them in practice and have a safe environment to really test it out. Like, how do I present, or like, how do I put together a PowerPoint, or what is it like going into an office every day and what do people talk about there, right? So really just helping them really start building those skills, not just in the workplace, but how are they learning about it in the classroom and then applying it and then building those professional relationships at the same time. So our team really started with this evidence of what city schools needed, and we really just had to follow the roadmap of how we built it. Gloria and I met through an organization called YouthWorks Baltimore. So my background is in working with young adults, really young adults from the ages of 18 to 24. And through Europe, it was all built on an internship program. So 6 months, the students were with us learning like soft technical skills in business, IT, and some other pathways. And then for 6 months, Gloria, you can correct me, they were actually on the job doing internships. And the goal was that through those internships, they would be hired into family sustaining wages. And so I just feel really blessed that I get to work with our city school, high school students to kind of bring a similar program, but starting younger. I would say that Gloria and I met a lot of young people who were just super talented, but they had like career limiting habits that, like we just feel like the younger we start with young people, the more positive career habits we can build. So showing up on time, being positive, having a growth mindset, like all of these things are so critical to succeeding, right? And so I just feel so fortunate I get to work with our K to 12 students in building those positive career habits and getting to apply them to internship opportunities like this one.
So you've now implemented the program. You're in your second year pilot. How does it work?
So how it works is that we partnered with Urban Alliance to build a 21st century career readiness curriculum. We train, really schools select to offer this course to their seniors. A senior has to be on track to graduate. They have to have a 2.0 GPA, and that's not to exclude anyone. It's just you really do need a schedule to be able to leave school early to do this internship experience, right? And we're also in the Office of College Readiness, where we need to make sure that all of our students graduate and they graduate on time. So in order to do that, we need to make sure that a student has a 2.0, they're on track to graduate, and really just showing readiness to be able to leave school to do this kind of opportunity. So schools select to offer this as an elective to their graduating senior class. The schools that do that, we train their teachers on the curriculum, and their teachers are really, our work-based learning instructors are facilitating the content that was developed in partnership with Urban Alliance for the first semester. And then depending on how well a student does, like, are they showing up to class on time? Are they completing their homework on time? Are they engaged in the conversation? Do they have a resume? Like, did they do like their pre-capstone project? Like, there are all of these pieces in place for a student to demonstrate that, you know what, I am ready to leave school, to have this on-the-job experience, and hopefully a paid one, right? So after that curriculum, what happens in the second semester, students begin to apply for all these opportunities that, you know, like partners like you that have provided, and they go through that job board and they're looking for opportunities that either speak to their interests or speak to their career pathway. And so they apply, they send their resume to Gloria. Gloria submits that to the employer sets up the interview, and then there's this whole coordination and dance to get to that final space where that student is matched with the employer, and Gloria is really managing the relationship between the student, the employer, and the work-based learning instructor. And after that experience is roughly 13 weeks. And after those 13 weeks, the student really is supposed to be doing like a capstone project on like, how did this influence my next steps? Because students, like, so they finish the internship in May, they graduate in June. And so really kind of reflecting back with whether it's their junior class or another grade at their school, like what the benefit of this program was to them and what is that going to mean in their post-secondary journey. So like in a nutshell, that's really what it is. It's like 6 months of curriculum, getting ready, like really going through a 21st century career readiness curriculum, 13 weeks of putting into practice from the job search to like the weekly reflections, to the resume, the cover letters, the capstone project, and then the culmination and getting ready for graduation like a month after their internship concludes. Gloria, did you want to add anything to that?
No, ma'am, I think you covered it all. Thank you.
Really quickly.
Well, so I've had the benefit of being in on the site host training, and I was really impressed that you're asking the students to work only Monday through Thursday, and I assume Friday they are continuing to be in the classroom and synthesizing what it is that they've learned that week or are learning in that progressive journey as they're getting acclimated. Can you talk a little bit more about that while they're...
Yeah, thank you for honing in on that. So, I mean, that really came from the model that, like, I really feel like we're like really just testing out in the high school space. And I think what we learned, and I would love Gloria to speak to this as well too, I think what we learned with our year up students is that, or even really with almost any program that I feel like we've done, students learn best from each other. Like they're more willing to receive from each other than they are from like this adult in front of the classroom. So when a student talks about like, on my internship this week, I got to have like coffee with the president and CEO. I got to like, you know, do a presentation. I got to do all these, like it inspires their peers to like want to go back and try and do those things at their internship, right? And for some of our students, because they had a choice whether they were going to do an internship or use their own job, what we saw last year is some of those students who decided to use their own job was like, why did I do that? Like, why didn't I really just put myself out there and try this experience? But either way, they got to learn from their peers, like what that experience really was. And you know what? It's really not that scary. And I got to meet all these really cool people and got some really cool things out of it. So yeah, that Friday, so yeah, 4 days there at the employer site, and that one day to come back is really for that peer-to-peer conversation, right? This is what my experience was like, really helping remove some of the, I guess, discomfort or apprehension about being in the workplace from people who look like them, have gone to school with them, and that they can trust. But it's also a space where our instructors are completing the rest of the content that needs to be done by the end of before our seniors leave the school building. Claire, I'm going to go to you.
Okay. And so only thing that I would add, because she's absolutely correct, I think that that's most important and valuable. But on the other side, it also gives them an opportunity to say, I didn't have a good week. I didn't show. And to be feeling like they're in a safe space because they're with their peers that they've already been with for 6 months. And so their peers can then offer them maybe some feedback, genuine feedback to say, wow, why did you do that? Why have you been late? Why are you messing up this opportunity? But they can hear it coming from a student as opposed to coming from this adult standing in front of them. And then that increases the learning and the opportunity for them to go back next week, perhaps, and improve, and then come back with a different report, because chances are they're going to want to have a better report for the following week than they did for the past week. So it's also the safe space for them to have real career limiting conversations around career limiting behaviors, so that not only are they experiencing it, but they're also teaching it. So they're the student and the teacher at that moment, to teach it to their peers about what it feels like, what it looks like, and what are the things, or what are some of the repercussions perhaps that are even happening as a result of those limiting thoughts and behaviors.
Absolutely. Thank you for pointing that out. I love it.
So let's talk numbers. How many students do you have participating? How many schools are there? And how many site hosts do you have?
So right now we have 198 students that are enrolled in this specific work-based learning course, which is exciting, at 8 schools. We have 25 internship host sites that have provided 108 seats. And so we're really excited. And so it's great because I think every first year and even going to this year is who's going to take our amazing young people, right? And people come through all the time, and it's so exciting. And I think what we're learning from our teachers in the classroom, our students, and even from our internship host sites, like on that call we had on Friday, is that we need to find more creative ways to bring these opportunities to our students, right? So for us to say, just go to the job board, right? That may not be generation. I don't know what generation they are right now. It's not X, but that might not fit that generation, right? So really thinking about, how do we do an internship fair? How can we have some interactive media? How can we be just more creative in talking to our young people about these opportunities, right? And not expecting them to go through a really boring job board with 500 jobs and trying to distinguish what's the difference between each of those. So we are really learning about how to better package that, so that our students, so more of our students take advantage of this opportunity. So 198 students, 108 seats. If everyone wanted to see, we would have been a little bit behind. But students also get a chance, also can opt in to use their employment, which a lot of our students have done. And some of our students just don't have the schedule, whether it's because of sports or something or other factors, where they can't really leave the school day. And so our teachers have been so creative. I love them. They're so amazing, where they're creating high school work study programs for them at their school, where they're still getting that real career experience just in the school building or immediately around that school. So we're just trying to find really creative ways to still make sure that everyone in that course that has demonstrated the ability and want and desire has a career experience for their 13 weeks.
Well, speaking of creativity, another thing that I was personally impressed with was the idea of doing a virtual internship and making that more, or a hybrid internship where part of it's in person and part of it's online. Can you speak a little bit more about opportunities there?
Yeah, so this year we really tried. I think, for example, I think yours would have been a little bit virtual. And so I think it really, depending on the employer, there is a hybrid model. I know for one of our apprenticeship programs, it is a hybrid model where there's really a lot of independent work that student can do virtually, right? But then there is a space where whether it's via Zoom or whether they're coming to the office, where they have that interaction as well. We offered 100% virtual internships last school year, and it just didn't work out as the way we wanted to. And I think it's because students were coming back from a pandemic where they were in front of a computer all the time, and they didn't want to be in front. They really wanted to be with
people.
With people. And so even though we did that because like I said, we wanted to make sure everyone had an opportunity that fit their need and schedule, that virtual internship just didn't work, right? Because they didn't have to be in a school building. There was really nobody monitoring kind of where they were for the experience. And so I kind of really shied away from offering a virtual internship this year, but each partner I feel may have a different model where they're only expecting the student to come in maybe one day out of the 4, and then the rest are virtual. And I think that's fine, but I think doing 100% virtual, I think for the time being, I don't think that would be an option that we offer students right now.
Well, I brought it up in case there are people viewing who might be interested in an internship, but maybe don't have capacity for a student every day of the week?
Hybrid would be great. Yes. Hybrid is a great option to do that. Especially if they're really clear tasks that you know that a student can turn in, and there
Right.
is monitoring and that kind of support and assistance, definitely. But they're still high school. Imagine when you were 17, 18. They're not ready to be completely left alone to their own devices.
No. So you mentioned a little something about remuneration. So are these paid or unpaid, or how does it work?
So our goal, I mean, studies have said that not only should students be paid for an internship, right? They're more likely to complete it if they are paid. And so the motto for our career readiness office is that we want to make sure that students are paid. We want to make sure that they're at least paid the minimum wage or higher. Because some of them, it's a choice between do I work my job or do I do this internship experience? And we don't want them to have to do that and suffer the consequences outside of that. So I know a majority of our partners are able to provide either a stipend or an hourly wage. And for the employers that are not able to, we do have a little bit of grant money that we got this school year where we are able to pay students a stipend. But we definitely want to pay them. We want to pay them more than our bucket of money would allow. I know me and my boss, Kamasi Vines, we're definitely out in the streets, like fundraising, trying to get more support so that we can make sure that any student who does an internship at least has a minimum stipend of $2,000 for their 13 weeks.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to throw that in because I know money always helps.
I appreciate that. Money definitely helps motivate all of us, but definitely our young people. Because I mean, think about these are seniors. They have a prom coming up. Some of them are trying to save money for a car as they get ready for college or career. So they have a lot of big bills coming up as they do this transition from high school to post-secondary. And that stipend makes a big difference.
So if students are interested, how do they sign up?
So their school really has to sign up. So the school is the entity that requests the course. Because they have to dedicate a staff person to be able to lead the course, right?
Right.
So if a student is interested, I'd say speak to your counselor, speak to your principal, tell them to bring the work-based learning course to your school, because that it really starts with the principal making and the schedule making that decision, and then kind of everything goes from there.
Cool. Mm-hmm. So how can businesses participate?
Businesses can participate by providing internship opportunities to our young people. If you feel like you can't take on a young person, but you want to sponsor a young person's internship experience, we definitely take donations to underwrite the cost for our student stipends. And I really would love our business community to learn a little bit more about a youth apprenticeship, because really that is the new model that our state is coming out with this whole really, I think it's more in depth than internships, where you're actually working with students on specific technical skills to enter specific career roles at your company. I would love to talk one-on-one with you about apprenticeships and kind of how that looks different than an internship, and how that may even be a better fit for your company than a 13-week internship experience. So definitely want to flag those things and all the opportunities that are coming from our state to support companies in supporting our young people, whether it's a tax credit or other benefits and incentives. So definitely appreciate it. Please reach out to our office. Definitely would love to work with you.
Okay. So which businesses or industries are most in demand with students? What do they want to go into?
I'm going to go to Gloria for this one, because she has been really working one-on-one with our students.
On the placements and trying to find matches.
And it's actually quite interesting. It's not as technical as you might think. Most of the students, the ones that have gotten the biggest response, are places like Art with a Heart, where students can combine creativity along with the opportunity to learn a new skill, and to work with the public and different things like that. That's probably the biggest thing that we're seeing, a shift away from internships that are more technical. They want to be out and about, the internships that allow them to have really more hands-on and learning a skill, because everybody does not want to go to college. I know how wonderful that idea is, but it's not really for everyone. And so the idea of learning a new skill, having an opportunity to perhaps even get a certificate, even during this 13-week period, is very appealing to our young people right now. So that's what we're seeing, a lot of students that are really leaning toward things that give them hands-on and fields that you might not, like even the I'm trying to think of working with the flowers and the plants, Nikki. What is that?
Florist?
Horticulture?
The what? The curatorial.
Horticulture? Okay.
No, the curatorial internship is one of the, something like the students have an opportunity to do something that they perhaps would not have considered before. And when they see the description, like, oh, I want to try that. And so that's so we see some students, that's mostly where they are. And then of course, those are the familiar places that they want to explore, working perhaps in city government or learning more about how city government works. And so it's just really what we see is our students desiring an opportunity to learn something different. And it's not just the status quo as it may have been, where IT may have been the number one go-to. Actually, I probably have one student, maybe two, that applied for any of our IT internships. Most of them are in other fields or fields related to community service, serving people, and learning a new skill or something that they can put to work immediately, or put to use rather immediately.
That's awesome.
Interesting. I would not have guessed that. So thanks for that.
Yeah.
What other community support do you need, or how else can other people help?
So, I mean, outside of internships, Baltimore City Public Schools has like a full spectrum of work-based learning. If you wanted to come into like our middle schools, our elementary school, our high schools to really just talk about your careers, if you wanted to bring our students out to your company to get to see like what is your company about, your industry, even job shadow, we have a full spectrum of ways that you can engage with our students, and our students can engage with you and your companies. We also have our career technical education programs, our CTE programs, where our students in high school are on specific career pathways, whether it's construction or engineering. We have committees that support that programming. So there are many ways. I would definitely recommend everyone going to the Baltimore City Schools website /CTE or CCR. And you'll find more ways that you can get involved. And we can't do work-based learning without our community and industry partners. So we definitely appreciate everything that we've been able to do up till now, and look forward to the future.
Well, do you have any success stories from last year's cohort that you'd like to share?
Oh my goodness, we have two, and unfortunately I should have written their names out. We had two. We had one student who was with Great Kids Farm. And she just had an amazing student. She was a senior at Edmondson, and she completed her internship there. She got to ride a tractor. She got to do a lot of really cool things. And this was the student when her teachers talk about her. This was somebody who was really introverted, really shy, didn't really speak that much, and they were like, "We can't believe she went through that." Like, they were so impressed and shocked because like she applied, she interviewed, she got it, and like she slowly started coming out of her shell, and it was like just hearing about it, like it just made my heart melt. And then we had a student from Benjamin Franklin who worked with one of our partners called BTI, and they wanted to hire him after the 13 weeks. They were like, how can we keep this young man? And so I think those two stories are the ones that really resonate, where it was our first year. We had no idea what was going to happen or what it was going to look like, and employers really responding to how our students were showing up, and our students being proud of themselves for how they took advantage of that opportunity. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, this is amazing. Thank you so much, ladies. This was
Thank
very informative and interesting. And I've looked at this. I've gone through some of the training, and some of this information is new, and I'm really excited. I hope that other employers get really excited, and community members get involved and do more with you. I think this is a fantastic opportunity. And I think a lot of people are looking for a way to make a difference in Baltimore. It's something that's actually going to work, actually going to make a real impact in somebody's life. And I can't think of anything that would have more impact than helping someone be able to earn a living.
I cannot agree with you more. I think you're absolutely right.
Well, thank you again, ladies. I really appreciate it. This is LeeAnn Blanchard for Boots in Baltimore. Have a great day.